I dedicated everything I got into being the best I could be at this rapping shit, with the only intent of being the best and being successful and having that glory of having the whole world as my fan base. You know, that's all I wanted from jump. And no matter what I did, it would never come back and reward me until I decided to start talking about where I was from and everything that was going on where I grew up at.
I'm from the paradise slum, where mad kids die young. It's like once you let them out the house, it's only a matter of time.
You know, that's my neighborhood. You know, I call it the paradise slum because when you get there, you see the big houses. The pill epidemic is actually so severe that it's like 2 out of 3 kids that are addicted. And so just because you see that perfect looking household on the outside, you know, there's a lot of shit going on, you know, in the neighborhood. You would not think that these kids that whip around in Mercedes Benzes when they're 17 years old would end up dying by the time they're 19, you know. So, you know, the amount of kids that wind up in a life of crime will end up dying because of it or going to jail because of it. You know, this stuff happens every day. And now it's happening all across the country. But in my neighborhood, I've been seeing this since the 90s.
Till they driving cars when drinking, with Oxycontins in them. And they sneakers hang from the phone wire that all they friends signed.
This kid Esposito, who passed away, he was young. And just to see his mother every day, you know, was crazy. And he had a lot of kids that he was down with, so they actually tagged up the sneakers and threw them up on the wire.
You see the restaurants, houses, stores think it's the nicest town you saw, but it isn't. Now the shit goes on behind these closed doors.
You know, there's a lot of opportunities for these kids out here to make that wrong turn, and you know, a lot of kids that come from that middle class, upper middle class, you know, even rich environment, make that wrong turn.
Where everybody eats, there's rules and regulations to uphold. Where if you fuck up once, the arms come out and tame you with muscle. Fuck up twice, you dead. Talking about your brains on the stucco.
I wish I could say all the rules and regulations were being upheld, but they're not. It's like they don't even matter almost no more these days, you know, but that's what I'm talking about, because in my neighborhood, it does matter. In my neighborhood, it does matter. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you're telling somebody, if you're telling the right person, there's gonna be repercussions for that.
But I'm from GK, Great Kills, the burial ground.
It's a real cozy suburb. It's nice. And, you know, maybe when I say burial grounds, you guys are thinking about people getting dumped and all that. And that's what I was referring to. But really, this is something 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. They were the choice burial grounds for all mobsters throughout the whole entire tri-state area, not just Staten Island. Staten Island just has the largest population of Italian mobsters and stuff like that. And out there in Great Kills, you know, there's a place called Fishkill, and there's a lot of bodies and bones and stuff discovered there. It was, like I said, a choice burial grounds for the mob through a lot of years. You know, Staten Island was a lot of woods. So mobsters from all over the tri-state area, all over the area, will come and dump their, you know, bodies and victims and shit like that right in my neighborhood.
Well, criminal minds expand and make fortunes at the office. So shit hits the fan and feds come and stick you with other forces.
You know, they might come from a long line of criminals, and they definitely, a lot of these kids are highly intelligent, do not look necessarily the role, so they lay below the radar for quite some time, and they're very resourceful. So, you know, some of the criminals who changed their life and appear to have gone legal were actually doing like corporate crime, you know. So I was talking about how a lot of the guys in Wall Street, a lot of the guys in the mortgage offices, a lot of the guys just that you see doing anything legal, you know, a lot of them tend to have some other things going on.
Before my gold diggers dig, these cuties is deadly. Every chick closet full of Prada, Gucci, and Fendi.
I noticed that it definitely changed the type of girls that I had when I had my situation and money was going in and out of my hands and stuff. You know, it's funny, man. They throw themselves at you. And where I live, you know, the girls out there, they already got the Louis, they already got the Gucci, they already got all that stuff. So, you know, you tend to see the better looking girls with the guys that got things in my neighborhood. You know, the guy who got the nice car, the guy who got the nice crib, the guy who got the bread, you know, the nice watch, all that other stuff. You know, the girls go after those guys.
A form of your safe deposit box ain't never completely safe. Where they clear your Bank of America, then cut to the chase.
I know this one particular guy who's actually doing a long time behind bars. You know, he was a straight hitting banks left and right, and he actually hit 6 of them on Thanksgiving and the day before that. So he wasn't no joke. He wasn't going after nothing unless it was $500,000 or better, you know what I mean? They were taking safe deposit boxes. So all the valuable jewelry and the things that you have in there, none of it was safe, because out here they'll clear the whole shit up.
From where they overdosed by 18 from popping and drinking. And everybody high Roxy's, but no one got a prescription.
I mean, it just seems like everybody is on pills in my neighborhood, and it's been like that since the 90s. You know, this thing is really, people are really aware all over the place now about this pill thing, but it's been happening in my neighborhood. You know, rest in peace to Aunt Malone, rest in peace to just so many people in the neighborhood that passed away from pills. I've seen it affect me on all levels, my friends, acquaintances, neighborhood people, family members. It's crazy. The epidemic is that serious because where I'm from, like I said, that criminal element, they want to make money doing that. So if a kid's too lazy to get a job, if a kid's too lazy to do this and that, if a kid's dirty or he just never wants to be clean, what they'll do is, you know, they'll take whatever injury they got, take their ass to the doctor, get an MRI, get a prescription, get as many prescriptions as they can from many people that they know to get the pills and put them out there and make their money.
Dudes talk stupid on the phone with the diabetes listening. Intern gymnasts start flipping once they charged by the system.
A lot of kids in my neighborhood will go full steam, speed of light, thinking that everything is good. They'll sell pills, they'll sell weed, they'll sell coke, they'll do this, they'll do that, they'll loan shark, they'll do everything. You know, on the phone, this and that. Next thing you know, the feds are around. And what do? They tell on someone else. There are a lot of stand-up people who would never do that. But there are a lot of people that do.
Friends stab each other in the back, and every other rat got a death before the sign attack.
A real guy who's not gonna rat on nobody doesn't need to get a death before the sign attack. I just find it funny how, like, you know, a lot of people are ratting on people that have a death before the sign attack.
From what they think it rich instantly, where affiliation is the key, and innocent guys get hit with 17 years of conspiracy.
A close friend of mine, his name is Wizzy, shout out Wizzy. He got hit with 17 years of conspiracy, you know, and matter of fact, I think I was inaccurate. I think it was like 23 years. So no proof, no anything on this kid, but they knew he was around shit, and he ended up in jail for 17 years. And he took it like a man, you know what I mean? He took that right on the chin, he went and did it, so it wouldn't affect the people around him that it could have greatly affected. He's innocent, by the way. That's what the line was about. Just because he was there and wouldn't give up the information that they wanted, he had to wear that.
Everybody out here wants to get rich overnight. And I noticed that a lot in the neighborhood. A lot of people move way too fast. The people that get to earning millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars before something goes wrong. My neighborhood breeds a lot of smart street kids, you know what I mean, that have the resources to put things together. Your affiliation with the wrong person is the key to you being finished. Or it could be the key to you being in a position to really get rich.
From where foul balls lunge and outlaws run.
Where the kids that went the wrong way, go the wrong way fast. They lunge. And where the outlaws run, you know. A lot of the outlaws throughout New York City, Italian outlaws, specifically what I was talking about, tend to nestle up in Staten Island in that cozy little community.
I'm from a predominantly Italian neighborhood, nice spot by the water where Russians took over 3/4 of every block.
In the last, I don't know, maybe 9 years, 10 years, the Russian community and Albanian community has really made their way in on every level. Businesses, stores, strips, storefronts, all the nice, beautiful property by the water. They're living there. The parks that are being built for their kids to play in. They're out there in the neighborhood, and the neighborhood has changed drastically. And I wanted to big them up and just do another song describing the neighborhood as it was now, with the whole Russian element and the Albanian element, both which are strong on a business level, in a middle class living there level, and definitely in a crime element. Without a doubt.
Where the average buy Italian delis and leave their name on the front and charge $2 a blunt. When 9/11 struck, they got beat up.
There were people running in stores and physically attacking some of these people, even though they were innocent and had nothing to do with it. Where it kind of touches home, which made me put the rhyme even together in the first place about that, was a guy named Joe, who pumps gas for my mother and my father down the block from, you know, them. And Joe had a lot of kids, and he was a wonderful guy, always looking to help and check the oil, do this and that. He's a great guy, you know what I mean? Always give you change if you needed change. Dynamite guy, and we knew what he was about, a family guy. So, you know, we always took care of him, you know what I mean? And they attacked Joe with stickball bats when 9/11 happened, just because maybe he looked like whatever they thought the people looked like that crashed the planes in the building. And Joe was hit in the head with a stickball bat, and he wasn't killed or anything, but he definitely quit his job and moved on with his life, and we haven't seen him since.
Well, for months on end, you flip shitloads of weight to a DT. Time you go down, it's on damn near every station on TV.
A lot of kids jump out of one lifestyle, and the next thing you know, they want to be a drug dealer and think that they're really about something that they don't know anything about. Making deliveries and keeping a gun close and you know, making deliveries of 50s and quarters and this and ounces and ounces. I'm talking about cocaine, by the way. And they keep going and they keep going, not realizing that for months and months they've been selling to an agent or some sort of police officer. And then that one day the police officer breaks the bad news to them and says, guess what? Now, I didn't just catch you today because that would mean that you're in some trouble. But I've been documenting your criminal career for the last 8-9 months. You know what I mean? And so now on behalf of that, you will be going away for over this.
Even the people that work out here want more, so they'll do side jobs. Not just the street thing. I'm talking about just the people out here. They want more. You know, another 15,000, you know, will get them the in-ground pool in the backyard. You know, another 20 grand will put the stonework on the front of the house. So everybody wants that, and everybody goes for that.
Well, so many died in cars and motorcycles they drove. So there's teddy bears and murals on telephone poles.
A lot of young kids get really fast cars in my neighborhood, and a lot of young kids are on a lot of milligrams in my neighborhood. And when you mix milligrams with fast cars and recklessness and even steroids, shit that makes your heart pump fast, temperature drop up and down and all that, you're on a motorcycle. I can't tell you if we have more than other places, but I sure do see teddy bears on poles every fucking 3 minutes where I live. Not to mention the fact, let me say this, Staten Island is the roughest roads. Nobody gives a fuck. There's potholes everywhere. Like, please clean this shit up, which is probably why these kids are dying.
I'm from where Dutch after Dutch get flipped, we just blaze on the piff. That purple classic, Tony Stark, Raekwon the chef, that's all.
We lived it, and as you can tell, we still do. You know, Staten Island, very segregated, racially tense place to this day. And I really noticed things really changing for the better in terms of on a young level with the kids. When Wu-Tang came out, when Wu-Tang surfaced, you started to see the Wu-Tang shirts, the logo, people listening to the music, kids had something in common. That's why I brought Ghost and Ray into the song, because we felt it that much and we loved it that much. It had that much of an impact on our lives, on our style, on everything, even on the way I rhyme.
Wu-Tang did a lot for Staten Island, man. And, you know, Ghostface and Raekwon brought a lot to the table, you know what I mean? That purple tape that they put out was a classic, man. We was living that on the other side of the island. This whole song is about my neighborhood, you know what I mean? But the only thing I mentioned from the other side, I brought them into this because they affected everybody when they dropped.
I wasn't talking about my neighborhood to say it's more fucked up than any other neighborhood, because my neighborhood is where you want to live. If you're a doctor, you want to live next to me. The whole Paradise Slum thing is not to tell you it's such a slum, it's such a bad place. It's a brief reminder that don't judge a book by its cover. Not because you'll die out here, but I want to be a voice for these people. That's ultimately what I'm doing. The thing that separates me from every other rapper out there is who I am, how I was raised, what I came up off of, the era I was in, and where I'm from. And there is no animal in the whole entire rap game. There is no animal in Hollywood, and there is no animal on TV or anywhere from my neighborhood. The specific animal that my neighborhood creates. Me, people like me. You know, I want to be that voice for all the hip-hop fans.
If there's one thing I want people to always say about JoJo Pellegrino, it's that he's different and he brought something different to the table. The one thing that differentiates me from everything in hip-hop that was, is, or will be is what I'm talking about, where I'm from, and how I'm talking about it. So I'm going to continuously do it. No matter what goes on in the neighborhood, I'm still going to represent, because it's where I'm from.
Sleep in the trunk where we pump, South Shore, son, ain't nothing nice.
I brought the suburbs to the hood.
Sleep in the trunk where we pump, South Shore, son, ain't nothing nice.
When I rap, you think I give a fuck who criticize? I brought the suburbs to the hood.